wanna be educated, but I'm so frustrated.
All right. Hey, hi there. I'm Audra McMahon.
I'm Sheryl McCormick.
And today we are going to have some straight talk.
Straight talk about divorce.
Taboo. Not for us. We love talking about divorce because unfortunately it happens to half of marriages these days. And we think that your marriage needs half as much planning as your divorce does. So if people put a little bit of effort into undoing what they've done, we would have much healthier, more whole human beings. And one thing to look into is paying out. One person's going to stay in the house and one person's going to take the equity out. How does that work? Is that even possible? Well, first we got to talk about value. And thank goodness Sheryl is a licensed real estate agent. So how do we even figure out a value?
Well, it depends on what perspective you're coming from, totally. Usually when you're selling your house, your real estate agent will provide something called a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis. And in that document, what the agent actually does is they go look at similar properties, similar floor plans, similar size, and similar neighborhoods to see what the homes have sold for recently. And they will also, if they need to, they'll go a little bit further outside the area. They just look at various different aspects of the home, trying to determine the value of the client's home. Now, an appraiser usually comes into play once a home has been sold and you're trying to justify the value that the person is paying for the home. And an appraiser is paid to come in and give a true valuation of that home. And they will go through some of the same
like checks and balances?
Yeah, absolutely, that the agent does, but they'll do it in a much more methodical and statistical way. They will look at room measurements. Mm-hmm. They look at upgrades of the home. They get into a much more detailed report.
Because they actually go in the house, right?
They do.
So they're taking like current pictures, where as a realtor, when you're just doing a market analysis, what was it called again?
A CMA.
A CMA, which that stood for?
Comparative market
analysis.
Right.
So my CMA, my comparative market analysis, are you going over to the house to check upgrades and like price that out?
No, as a real estate agent, what we're doing is we are looking in the MLS at sold properties, mm-hmm. or potentially properties that are on the market as well. But we don't actually go into the homes. We look at the data, we look at size, floor plan, neighborhood primarily.
Okay, got it. So MLS was multiple listing service. So that's just where most licensed real estate agents house all of the information about all the homes available on the market.
Right.
Just in case somebody's watching that doesn't know, MLS, multiple listing service. Most every region has one. I say most because who knows, there might be one that doesn't. We can't say all, right?
For sure.
Okay, so with that being said, I wanted to talk about distance. So distance, I know as a 20-year veteran in lending, we typically like homes that have sold to be within 1 mile of the subject property, not crossing any massive markers, like not crossing a river, not crossing a state line, not crossing a highway. Right? Okay.
And ideally, if you can find properties that are located in the same neighborhood, mm-hmm. That's going to give you a better comparable value. If you can't find them in the exact same neighborhood, we might go out just a little bit further, again, not crossing those boundaries, but it's important that you look at like properties.
Right. And why is this important? For the preparation of your divorce settlement. That's why, friends. So when you're getting a loan, so I am retaining the marital home, okay? I'm going to keep it. Well, I've agreed to pay my spouse out equity. For the loan, I can't exceed certain thresholds, maybe for guidelines of actual loan to value, but then also maybe for my debt to income ratios. So maybe I literally cannot afford it, right? When we take cash out in today's rule, it's 2024, April of 2024, we cannot do a cash out loan greater than 80% loan to value. Easy math. If my home's worth $100,000, 80% is $80,000. The total loan and everything cannot be more than $80,000. Well, then what about my 20? There's still $20,000 of equity hanging out there. The lender won't take on massive risk, okay? And giving you cash out of your home that you've already paid is a risk. Risk in lending equals higher interest rates and capped loan to value. Buying a home has different rules and regulations, so we'll just put that to the side and deal with it a different day. Now, there's also two methods to this whole cash out phenomenon. 80% cash out, okay, fine. And if on my PSA, my property settlement agreement, I am made by law to pay off the house, get the spouse out of the existing loan, and pay them out maybe equity, maybe I owe them $100,000, and then also maybe I have back child support that I need to pay. So all of that has to be done. It's going to be on that PSA how much money needs to be paid out and by when. There will be a timestamp. 3 months, 3 years, shoot. Early in my career, I helped a lady that was required within 30 days to refi. It was 9 years, y'all. She didn't take any action. 9 years, Sheryl.
Wow. That is crazy. And guys, this can be very overwhelming. And so it's really important that you speak to your financial professionals as you're going through this to help plan for this. So why don't you dive in a little bit more?
Absolutely. So the difference between the CMA, one is going to be what we use a baseline for. The next is going to be what actually is utilized to determine the value. And then shoot, your attorney might take a combination or whatever you agreed upon at the time of divorce as a value. So we really want to make sure that we're crystal clear on a neutral assessment that's as accurate as possible before we have a decreed requirement. That means if you don't do it, your butt can get in jail. I don't want to go to jail.
Me either.
Okay, I'm not interested.
Plan ahead.
Please plan ahead. And if you get nothing else from this straight talk today, let it be that. You need to know your numbers and be confident in your values. And you've got a team that's here to help. So I'm Audra.
And I'm Sheryl.
And this has been Straight Talk.
Straight talk about divorce. Until next time.